Hey everyone, my name is Balraj Gill, and on this channel I work to expand on people's consciousness. So subscribe to the channel. Today I want to talk about why we go through the shit that we go through in life. Like, why is it that we have to go through such painful experiences? Like, for example, why do we have to go through the loss of a job or betrayal or the death of a spouse, a parent, a child, a grandparent, whomever? Why do we go through experiences that are so shitty in our lives? Now, I'm sure as I'm saying that, you're probably already, your mind's already working and you're thinking about super shitty experiences that you've had in life. And the crappy experiences can include your family. Like, maybe you haven't had a good relationship with your family and you're holding on to that, or you're the person you love, a husband, a wife. Like, maybe the experiences weren't so good, but maybe there's still some pain somewhere. Now, why do we have to experience painful experiences? The reason is because we truly have to understand and be able to recognize our feelings and understand what it is that we want. You're probably thinking, that sounds crazy. What are you talking about? Obviously, we understand our feelings. Obviously, when we're going through pain, we know we're going through pain because it feels like shit and you want to get rid of it. You want it out of your life. So I'm going to explain it. I'll give you an example of my own life. The reason I went through so many, I have seen a lot for my age. I have been through a ton. So becoming a widow at a very young age, 29 or 30, I can't remember anymore. And, just being with this guy who was my high school sweetheart for half my life before he passed away, and we had a 3-year-old son. Then becoming a forced single parent, and then raising my son all by myself with no help whatsoever. All those experiences made me who I am today. They taught me to feel. So when my husband passed away, obviously I felt grief, pain, like the loss. I was in shock for about 5 to 6 years. I always tell people that. But what happened was that I began to recognize that I don't want to live in pain. I not very quickly, it took me a long time. I held on to grief for ages. But over time, I realized that grief is low vibration, pain is low vibration. I don't want these feelings. I want joy. I want happiness. So I began to make a conscious shift on attaining more joy, attaining more happiness. And the way I did that was really recognizing, like, for example, my job. I worked an affluent job, I had a well-paying professional gig going on, and I did a lot of schooling for it. But I realized I was unhappy. I wasn't happy in my job anymore. My job was no longer fulfilling at all. And that recognition only came after I began to release the grief, release the pain. Pain and grief allowed me to do some introspection and not just work for money anymore. Like, I'd be fine if I was working for money right now and at the same job that I was at prior. I'd be good in life. I would have money in the bank and just live a good, cushy life. But no, because it wasn't fulfilling. And now at this point, going through all that grief, loss, introspection, I began to recognize that I'm just not happy. I'm not happy driving into work every day. I don't even like the systems, the medical systems, like the morality behind it. I began to question things more. Like, why are we doing things this way in the medical field? Why aren't we doing it this way? Are we causing more pain? Are we causing suffering to the population? Are we brainwashing the population? Am I part of this? All of this I began to question more. So the feelings I had were not settled. Therefore, I took more time off. I took a leave of absence. And that was my first little inkling into entrepreneurship, because then I had to decide, what am I going to do next? What makes me happy? And what makes me happy is I knew back then was fitness. Then I opened up this fitness business, went through so much failure, loss. I hated that time in my life. I look back now and I understand I needed it, but I hated it. I hated the people in my life. It was the struggle. It was just such hard times, but I had to go through those hard times to understand that it can be easier. I don't have to suffer anymore. And that was when the switch came. Just, getting rid of my gym was the best thing I could have done. It was so hard, but I made that decision like this because I knew I had to do it. And that's what got me into the organics, the soap making. These beautiful things that people love are a service to the community. And I do it with spirituality, meditation. So I got to involve my spiritual being and who I am. We meditate when we make these things. And that vibration started rising because meditation brought me happiness, joy, and the more joy and happiness that you have, you recognize what doesn't work. So now, because my vibration is at a higher level, when I do get sucked into fear, I'm not totally paralyzed. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm neutral. I'm balanced. I recognize the fear. I feel it. I can almost see it. I see a color in my mind's eye and I know where it's coming from. It's not just sitting in the subconscious where I'm walking around like a robot, not knowing what the hell is going on in my own body, my own spirit, my soul. I learned over time to walk around recognizing my subconscious mind, my programming, and where those feelings are coming from, and then releasing those feelings in order to come to where I live in today. Most of the time, I would say 85% of the time, I live in balance. Fear comes, fear still trickles in, but I'm able to release it like that. Like literally, I'm able to say, to fear, I understand where you're coming from, but it's going to be okay. I take you out of the law. You need to go away. Yes, I talk to my emotions. I tell my subconscious it's going to be okay. We're fine now. We have gone through a lot of growth. We will continue to grow. Just get out. Don't need to be here. And then I'll visualize the fear. If it's the color red or black or whatever color, I'll visualize the color going away from my body. So you have to go through shit in your life to recognize the feelings and then do something about it, which is going to take you to a higher vibration and bring you to a level of joy, peace, love, happiness, enlightenment, whatever it may be. That's the point of life. That is when you begin to bring the law of attraction starts to work for you, because you no longer have to beg. How many of us have begged God? How many of us have sat there or laid there in bed? I've done it. I have done it and just been like, please God, help me. I need your help. Please God. That is not how it works. What you learn with time is that fear is not a thing. That when you're talking to God or the universe in fear, no, it's what you want to say is, thank you, God, and I am grateful at this moment for what I have. You need to change that programming in that subconscious mind. When you become more thankful and grateful, that is when the universe opens up more. And that's when God can actually help you by bringing the right people into your life or giving you signs and signals if you're open to seeing them. That gives you comfort and that it is going to be okay. That's the law of attraction. So it's a long video, but I think it had to be. So we go through crap, because we have to. It is part of life, and feelings are you're supposed to learn from them. Now, if you don't learn from your feelings, so let's say I learned from my husband passing away. I am not the same person I was when I was 30 at all. I'm not the same person I was like 6 months ago. But I know some widows that are older than me. Their husbands passed away, let's say a decade ago, 5 years ago, whatever. But they never change. They still hold on to that same anger. They look in the past more than they are present, and they can't release. It's mainly anger that they hold on to, and they keep going from that anger. So there's no learning. They're stagnant. There's absolutely no learning. And because they hold on to anger, they attract more angry situations into their life. They attract more angry people into their life. So their vibration stays at a low, and anger just takes over them. So your soul, let's say, is white, but their soul starts cracking. It starts to, because anger, grief, pain, fear will eventually penetrate your soul, and you'll get leaks and cracks into it, which causes illness and injury, back pain, knee pain, headaches, all of that. That's probably a different vlog that I'll talk about. I hope I gave you some information here to really understand that when you're going through things, you're going through them in order to increase vibration and learn. And hopefully you learn enough through your experiences. You can talk about it and also do like a vlog or work and talk about your experiences to also elevate consciousness on this earth. It's my take. Talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.